Hi, I'm Demi, founder and CEO of You're the Book Press and editor-in-chief of Self Pub magazine, here in the studio today with author Judy Wolfman. Welcome, Judy.
Thank you, Demi.
Tell us a little bit about your books.
As you can see, I have several of them here.
Yeah, these are just the top of the pile. You know, you've got years and years of books.
Right. I started out as a children's writer, and I have a series of actually 9 books called Life on the Farm. And from there, you might say I grew up, and I started to go, I went into the young adult crossover type of books, and Not My Time was one, and this one here.
Tell us a little bit about Not My Time.
Oh, Not My Time was incredible. It's the true story of a Holocaust survivor who at one point in time was living here in York. Her name was Nessie Wolpert Marks, and I had the experience of listening to her talk. And as she talked about the experiences and horrors that she endured, I couldn't help but think in terms of this would make a great book. So I offered to interview her. She was gracious and she said, "Oh yes, this would be wonderful. It would help me honor my pact, my promise." And the hands there shows hands of teenagers in the ghetto that she was in. They made a pact that whoever survived would tell their story. And she was the only survivor.
That's a touching turn.
Demi, I'll tell you the experiences she went through from an affluent family, through the ghetto when she was a teenager, escaped under false name, and went into a labor camp, and then her journey through life until she got to America. And
when I think of my 15-year-old son as a teenager, imagine throwing the Holocaust on top of that situation. It's tragic.
Awful.
Now, your other book, The Long Escape, is also a survivor story.
Yes,
in a way.
it is. And you can see how skinny it is. This one is about the Chinese immigrants who left China to come to America, where they knew they would be free. They had the one-child law in China, and it was terrible living conditions under communistic powers, and they got aboard the Golden Venture ship, which was a cargo ship, but they had to pay smugglers, known as snakeheads, thousands of dollars.
Yeah, to get a luxury estate on the yacht, right?
Oh.
What was their room and board like?
I can tell you that in 2 sentences. Horrible. That was it.
2 sentences.
And that wasn't even 2 sentences. It was one strong word.
Did they have their own room?
No.
What were they in?
Close quarters. They were living or sleeping on the floor, on little slabs of wood, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, foot to foot, and so on.
Did they all survive the water journey?
Well, it was a long journey that they didn't anticipate. And by the time they reached America, they had to take a long route around. And by the time they reached America, after 17,000 miles and several months and a couple of hang-ups in countries, they came to the United States and they were excited. We're free! But they went aground at Rockaway Beach in New York. And the captain of the ship said, "Those of you that can swim, swim to shore." 10 of them could not make it. They drowned. 2 of them hit the shore, went into cardiac arrest, and some of them escaped into the surrounding area. 118 of the men were taken into custody and brought to the York County prison. And that's where the prisoners, the immigrants, were so bored that they learned how to make this fantastic paper art sculptures.
These are made from paper?
Made from paper. Strips of paper taken from magazines. And once one man learned how to do it, the others, they could look through windows or glass panes from pod to pod. And each man developed his own little way of doing things. Pictures of them are in the book.
These are incredible.
And they are incredible. If you look carefully at them, you'll see that it's colored pages from magazines, National Geographic was their favorite. And then they have the, the legal paper that they were able to get.
To give them the yellow.
Yeah, the yellow. It was amazing. And the wife of one of the lawyers, pro bono lawyers who worked with them to get their amnesty, she was an accountant. She saw this as a possibility to get revenue for them.
Funding. Oh.
Yes. So she sold them and earned well over $136,000. And the money that she got, she put into, if you could see these, each one is marked with the name of the person who created it. So it went into a special account, and by the time they received their amnesty and were freed, they had enough money to get started in their new life.
Oh, what an amazing journey.
It is.
Thank you so much. Now, the third book you have here on the table.
Well, yeah. This is kind of in between these two books. When I was a teacher, I used to work with my kids to say, you know all the words, but you need to read with expression. And that was tough. So I started to script a lot of the stories and folk tales and things that they liked, and scripted them so that they could become actors and actresses. And the result was
I bet they learned to read a lot better.
They did, and they loved it. They liked to act, they read with expression, and it was good. Now, fast forward, not too long ago, about 2 years ago as a matter of fact, I was with some other people who were actors and actresses, and they were complaining that, they missed being on stage, but they couldn't do any more memorization, blocking, the whole 9 yards. And I thought, we could theater script, we could do that. So I started to script some of the folk tales and stories and jokes that I would get on email, and we developed a Readers Theater troupe. And so far, for the past 2.5 years, we've been going out to all sorts of venues, and we don't charge, but we do request a donation be given to York Little Theater. Thus far, we have raised close to $2,000 for them. So, yeah, and we're on a roll. I mean, we get one gig after another, and all people have to do is call me, and I'll book them.
Where could our viewers get in touch with you to book that?
My email address is jbwolfman@verizon.net.
Okay, we'll put that up for the readers. So, as readers, where can we find your books?
Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.